Jordan. Hello, mate. Here we go for our first session of YouTube for people out there to discover mental skills for sport. You and I talking topics for around about 10 minutes a week. Mate, what's in store for people?
I think a lot of things. I think we're just going to have some authentic conversations and talk about topics that anyone who's an athlete and trying to get better at sport will have probably come across. And they'd just be interested to hear some different perspectives and then hear commonalities that other athletes go through and solutions that can pretty much work for anyone. So we just go through stuff like that.
Beautiful. Well, you're in the comfort of your own home. I'm in the comfort of my own home. Hopefully people listening are comfortable. Now, look, big topic today is, I thought we'd just start with massive topic straight from the get-go. Conquering pressure in sport. I mean, who doesn't want to know how to lick that one, huh?
It's huge. I think a lot of people would have come to learn about sports psychology because they've had to deal with pressure. And it's something you see every time you're watching sport on TV. The commentator will be like, oh, he's not handling the pressure, or the pressure got to him.
It's everywhere.
It's all over the media. It's
like
everything.
Local club level up until, you're watching Wimbledon or something. It's in everything, right? So, yeah.
And normally if an athlete doesn't perform well, that's what the commentator or the person on TV will blame. Oh, the pressure
choked, or they've done this, or they have.
The big word.
All right. So how about we
conquer it?
Yeah. How about we nut out basically an understanding for people of the territory, and then at the end we give people some techniques, some tips, suggestions on what they can throw into their weekend sport or their next competition. What do you reckon?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. So look, first thing on the agenda is someone's belief system for me. Okay, so if you've got all these tips and techniques and stuff like that, I just don't think it works that well for people if it's sitting on top of a dodgy belief system.
Yep.
So for starters, most people don't understand belief systems. It's not taught to people. It's not taught in school. So that's a topic for a whole nother day. But just to wrap this up nice and kind of concisely for now, if you had a belief towards pressure, which was something like, I love pressure, I perform fantastic under pressure, pressure brings out the best in my skills, versus a belief that sits there which says, oh, I'm no good under pressure.
Yeah, or sometimes people might not have a default belief set up, so they'll just revert to being, oh, I'm feeling pressure, this isn't good.
This feels weird. I don't know how to handle this. Yeah. So first layer for me is you got to get some decent beliefs starting to be built around what pressure is. And we've got some tools and stuff that we need to talk about that later. But at the moment, we're just setting the scene of how the hell do you conquer pressure, All right, next point. Can you talk to us a little bit about what we're going to talk about? Is acceptance and being kind of okay with the nerves and the weird feelings that comes along with pressure. Talk to us about that a bit.
Yeah, so I think the first thing we can talk about when something means a lot to us or is really important, we're probably going to feel pressure. So like small activities, you don't feel nervous brushing your teeth in the morning. But if you're on the back nine of a big tournament in golf, you're going to feel pressure because it's important and you want to play well. And so it's very likely that thoughts about choking or embarrassing yourself or whatever it might be, they're going to come up. So you're going to need to have a good way of identifying them and being able to not let them like overpower you when they come up, because it's pretty much guaranteed every time you need to perform well, you're going to have these thoughts about don't choke, don't mess it up, all that sort of stuff. It's going to happen basically.
I agree with that. I like that thinking as well, as like the meaning of something and what you attach to it.
We all want to play well under pressure.
Yeah. And if you look, it's very hard if you've trained all week, or not all week, even if you've trained like 2 hours a day towards something, and then, time goes past and you're competing in it. Mm-hmm. It's not a normal activity. Like, you eat food 3 or 4 or 5 times a day or whatever you do. That becomes quite normalized. When you have one-off events and you put this effort towards it, it changes kind of like the meaning of things. So there's different stuff that just comes along with it. Hey?
Yeah, you don't want to be like, oh, all this training would be wasted if I don't perform well in this tournament or at the event. And so you don't want to make it seem for nothing, or like so many things that your mind will just throw at you.
So I guess look, the common message we're saying there is there's a lot of kind of education in psychology out there around, hey, look, you're going to get weird feelings. The first thing you got to do is you just kind of accept that weird feelings are okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just haven't been taught that, told that, or worked with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if you can create a way where you could maybe list them or group them all together and put them maybe in like a bubble in your brain and go, all right, when all of these thoughts come up, that doesn't mean it's going to affect my performance. It's just like, it's a normal part of competing in sport. Maybe you might say, oh, these are my nervous thoughts. Here they are. I knew they'd come. Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
And that's not going to change my game plan, and that's not going to change all the things that I've practiced and worked on in the lead up to this event.
Yeah, perfect. So, look, my personal one, and I hope no one takes offense to this out there if your name is Garth, but what the name I gave to all my thoughts that come up for stuff when I'm under pressure is I gave them the name Garth, right? So when I'm talking to myself in that type of language and I'm getting those feelings and thoughts which are not the greatest, that's, I think, my label that I give to it. And if you come up with something simple like that, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
So it's like, oh, here's Garth. He's doing his thing.
No offense, Garth.
He's got all of those thoughts that I already knew about. Nothing new, but sometimes they can affect me, but it's nothing new. I'm pretty aware of what.
All right. Okay, cool. So, all right. Point number 3 on our topic of conquering pressure in sport. We're looking at now just some quick little tips, techniques, strategies that people can take away, put into their training, put into the next game.
Physiological things we can do to help.
Yeah.
Help the body, help the mind.
So mind and body, you're saying, basically are connected, right? And if we affect the body and get it to relax and chill out a bit, that will then in turn affect the mind. That's Absolutely. A good one. So give me. So let's just say someone has a tennis match coming up, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a big tournament coming up, 3 days away. They're starting to freak out a bit. What's your technique here? What are you talking?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe you could start using your physiology to get you a bit uncomfortable, put you through some stress, just to sort of get used to helping relieve some tension. Maybe go for a really hard run. Some people like to use cold showers in the morning, just something like to really wake up your physiology and maybe put you in a little bit of discomfort to get you to know that you're still safe and it's not going to kill you.
Yep.
And like same with being really nervous. It's not like you're going to need to go to the hospital for being too nervous. Like,
yeah,
it's something that can be really uncomfortable and that every athlete will deal with.
And it's allowing some of that nervous energy to kind of have an outlet as well. Hey, instead of just kind of circulating.
Pressure valve, kind of.
Yeah, a bit of a pressure valve, right? So yeah, just even if, like you said, go for a hard run. I mean, if they've got 3 days coming up to a tournament, maybe they don't go and do an ultra marathon, but they might just go and do like a short, sharp 20-minute or something like that, just to get that anxiety, that nervous tension out of their system.
Yeah, get the heart rate up,
yeah,
blood going, and just I think if you're really lost in your own thoughts, just changing your physiological state can really help change your mental state.
Yep. Okay. All right. Good tip.
Keep body moving.
So there's different ways you can do that. Look, the other way I heard, I was a runner earlier in life, and what I used to do before a big race was I would go in the car on my own and I would do some screaming. All right. Obviously, no one else would be around, but I'd just get it all out of my system, and it felt great. I mean, it sounded ridiculous at the time, but the first few times I did it, I went off to the race feeling as relaxed as what I've ever felt, So that's an example of the body affecting the mind, right? All right. So what else have we got there? Another tip for people that they can take away in dealing with pressure, conquering pressure?
One last tip.
What about, okay, a lot of psychology, and I hear people out there talking about just accept your feelings, don't fight with your feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
I pay that, I do. I'm not saying it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I think there has to be an element as well where you're starting to feel some type of dominance and some type of mastery of emotions growing over time.
Yeah.
All right. So a little tip technique can just be some simple self-talk, which for some people, not everyone, but for some people makes a world of difference. So they're like, this is my tournament. You know, I'm going to this tournament. I own this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can really buy into that, you know, and if that's a simple, quick thing that you can do, well, then why not, hey?
Yeah, well, if you feel real confident because you know you've done some really good preparation, you're like,
Yep.
I deserve this. I've
Yep.
practiced really well. I've eaten the right things. I've been sleeping really well. I've been doing good mental prep.
Yep.
I deserve to play well. I've done
Yep.
everything right. Everything I can control, I've done well.
And what you just said then is if someone's got a training diary and they can look over it and go, yep, last 2 weeks, tick, tick, I've done everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's your evidence right there as well, which says, you know what? I deserve to go well here. Pressure, come on. Seriously,
Yeah.
I've done everything.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've ticked all the boxes. You deserve it.
All right.
All right.
So look, we don't want to bore people, especially in our first episode. So probably wrap it up there. And look, for next time, what do you think about this topic of bouncing back with your emotions? You know, like something bad happens to you. I don't know, you throw a pass in footy, the other team intercepts it, they go score, you feel like someone's crushed your heart.
It's
bouncing back.
unavoidable. It's
Eh?
a part of sport. You got to make mistakes. So I don't know what to say. It's failure is the breakfast of champions. So everyone's got to be able to bounce back from stuff goes wrong in sport. So bouncing back is, I don't know, it's unavoidable part of being successful in sport.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. See everyone next time. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.